There's always something special about heading to Interlagos, and that's where we are for the penultimate round of the Formula One season in 2022. It's the Sao Paulo Grand Prix around this 2.67 mile circuit. It's the 39th time we've come here to Interlagos, where somebody's flicked on a switch this afternoon and the atmosphere absolutely electric in the crowd. The fans packing the grandstands have been chanting for their heroes since we got here to the track at about 9 o'clock this morning. 2 DRS zones to try and help some overtaking. Plenty of chances for overtaking. 37 passes yesterday in the sprint race that lasted just 24 laps. Today we've got a 71-lap Grand Prix, and into the centre S's, well, that's always a favourite place. Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon duelling as the track drops down in last year's race. Let's go down to Decido del Lago. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, one of the iconic moments, wasn't it, of last year's championship battle. Hamilton missing out on that occasion. He would, of course, get Max Verstappen a little later on. And in the opening skirmishes, you've got to be careful and you've got to try and avoid lots of cars on that tricky, tight infield sector where the moves and the corners just keep coming and coming. Now, what's the best tyre for this afternoon? Warmer conditions than yesterday, an earlier starting time too. Is it the soft tyre that's the best at the start? Is it the medium tyre that's the best at the start? It should be a two-stop race. So this is how they line up then for the 2022 Sao Paulo Grand Prix. And Yuki Tsunoda's changed his floor and his rear wing and his front wing, and he starts from the pit lane. Alex Albon, the only DNF of the sprint, starts 19th. Ahead of those, Nicholas Latifi in 18th and Fernando Alonso 17th, with his teammate Esteban Ocon just ahead of him. His car caught fire at the end of the sprint. They've changed the engine, no penalty for it. Lance Stroll took a 10-second penalty and starts 15th. Valtteri Bottas 14th, alongside his teammate Zhou Guanyu at Alfa Romeo. Mick Schumacher picked up 8 places in the sprint. He starts 12th, alongside Daniel Ricciardo, 11th on the grid for the 3rd time in 4 races. Pierre Gasly, top 10 for the first time since Singapore. Sebastian Vettel equals his best start of the season in 9th. Kevin Magnussen's the pole sitter this weekend. He won qualifying, starts 8th here today though. Carlos Sainz, a 5-place grid penalty for a new engine. The birthday boy Lando Norris is 6th, alongside Charles Leclerc, who's 5th for Ferrari. Sergio Perez, 4th on the grid here for the 2nd year in a row. Max Verstappen starts 3rd. He's won his last 2 races from there. Lewis Hamilton on the front row for the first time this season, and George Russell in P1. Hamilton doing his best to keep that record alive of at least 1 win in every season he's competed in Formula One. And we got 71 laps ahead of us here at Interlagos. It's lights out and away we go. They weren't held very long at the start. Russell gets away very cleanly though, and he's already got Lewis Hamilton behind him. Daniel Ricciardo makes contact there with Kevin Magnussen, and there's a second contact, and they're both out of the race. Ricciardo was looking for a move down the inside.
We're going to see it from Ricciardo's point of view. Yeah, so that's 100% Daniel's fault, unfortunately. And then didn't recognise that the Haas was freewheeling backwards.
There he goes, and I'll tell you what, Max Verstappen right on the tail. There are Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez too. Perez is looking to try and go down the inside of his teammate. Verstappen goes around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Has Verstappen got ahead by the time they get to the next corner? They touch the Mercedes of Hamilton and the Red Bull of Verstappen. And round the outside goes Charles Leclerc, and there's contact too with Lando Norris, and Charles Leclerc is off. Now this is what happened. Verstappen's ahead going into turn 1. Hamilton now ahead going into there. That's the incident that saw Charles Leclerc disappear off into the barriers. He must have hit it the right way, because so often we see a bit of damage from the wrong angle. A 5-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for causing a collision.
Lewis Hamilton in the background is being passed.
And Lewis Hamilton then dueling away with Mick Schumacher, and we saw just ahead Carlos Sainz making the move on Lando Norris. Hamilton trying to make amends, pulling out from behind the slipstream of Sebastian Vettel's Aston Martin, taking it 3 laps, and he's managed to get his man. There goes Lewis Hamilton. You notice the pace difference on the previous lap. Look at that, even before he jams the brakes on to head into turn 1. Lewis Hamilton now ahead of Lando Norris. Here goes Sebastian Vettel down the inside on Lando Norris. Sebastian Vettel has seen that move pulled off a few times in this race, and he's done it himself a few times in the past, and he's now up into the top 5. We're on board now with Valtteri Bottas, currently in 8th place. Going wheel to wheel there with Pierre Gasly. Valtteri Bottas enters the first corner and he's ahead with Sebastian Vettel. Close attendance behind Pierre Gasly. We're on board with Lewis Hamilton and Perez trying to defend. Lewis Hamilton going wheel to wheel with Sergio Perez, and to the roar of the crowd, emerging out triumphant by the time they get into turn 1. Hamilton up to second. It's once again a Mercedes 1-2. Lando Norris has come to a standstill in his McLaren.
I've lost power.
Full safety car.
Which is what I thought might happen the minute they couldn't move that car. Let's have a listen. We'll see the Ferrari trying to go down the inside, covers him off, gave him space. Sainz maybe a little tentative, couldn't quite get to him. Now they're almost making contact through the curve of the Sol. Bottas glad that he's got the inside line here, but Alonso goes round the outside anyway. He's almost pushing into the rear wing of the Red Bull. Carlos Sainz up into the podium places. DRS really helping here. There's Ocon, ahead of him Valtteri Bottas. 2 picked off at the same corner. Nice. On board with Charles Leclerc this time around. Charles Leclerc is looking to go down the inside. Perez wanted to cover that off, but it was too late. The Ferrari was already on the scene, and what a rescue job this is for Ferrari. Perez now trying to fend off Fernando Alonso. Dive down to the left-hand with a bit of DRS down the Retroposta. He's got another chance, and look at the speed that the Alpine's got. Getting past Sergio Perez. So here he goes, Verstappen on Sergio Perez, down the inside, Perez fights it. George Russell, after winning the sprint yesterday, wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix on a Sunday. It's a 1-2 for Mercedes.
George Russell, you are a Formula 1 race winner.
Come on, team!
And it's
Come on!
It's gorgeous for George. It's absolutely wonderful for the Constructors' Champions. And in his first season for Mercedes, George Russell, after winning the sprint yesterday, wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix on a Sunday. Made the step up from Williams to finally become a Mercedes driver in his 4th season in Formula 1, and he's got a perfect double this weekend, the sprint and the Grand Prix. It's the Russell Hustle at Interlagos.
We've been on this season with the team starting off so far off the pace, improving, then me personally having some very difficult races recently. I had a bit of a reset mentally going into Mexico, and I've been so happy with how these last weekends have panned out, and just so proud of the team. I think the important thing is that this second half of the season I've been quick, I've been solid with the car, and I'm back to the level that I want to be. And when I have a smooth weekend, the podiums are there, and I'm up to speed, and I'm confident for next year.
It was good move to try and go around the outside, but then I saw that he had no intention to give me space, so and I had no intention to back out. So yeah, then of course we both went off. I had front wing damage, but at the end of the day we were too slow anyway, so there was not really a lot that we could have done.
I was really disappointed. It went from bad to worse. After the safety car, we were on the wrong tire, and we were just a passenger. I couldn't get any temperature into the tire.
We're not always up here where we've been this weekend, and it's a shame that we weren't able to capitalize fully today, because I think our car had a great pace this week.